Hello everyone and welcome to the Student Golf app training session. In this one we will continue on in our eForm building. This one we're going to talk about field types and what kind of categories they can be when building an eForm. So as you can see here we have our eForm, and if we go down to the bottom we see step 2, which is create the form fields that make up your form. If we click add, this adds a new criteria and a new piece of information that we're requiring. So on the form field text, this is your title, so what would appear above the piece of content that you're asking for. The field type is a drop-down menu of a variety of different options, which we will go through. Then you have the option for required. If you click required, the form will not be submitted unless a piece of information is inside of that category. And to delete, you just hit the delete button. This arrow on the left, up, down, left, right, will simply move any pieces of content up or down if you have multiple pieces. So if you want to have your email above the name instead of having to delete it and start again, you can just drag things back up. So as we go through the field types, you can see that we have a first name, last name, email, phone number, text box, which is the default option, a large text box, very similar to ones you'd find in a comment section on a form online, upload a PDF where you can upload things such as terms and conditions. You can have a web link which people can follow. You can have a date and time function. The time function you can set the start and finish values, and it will alternate in 15-minute times. You also have a yes and no question, so for something like, do you require carts or will you be staying for dinner, yes or no. A signature, which will be an electronic signature that you actually sign on the phone on the screen. You have a selection to be able to choose between a number of different things. You also have a selection with email and a selection with quantity, which will let you pick a certain thing and then ask for how many numbers of that you would like. You have a payment, which is fixed amount, a payment which is user entered, a selection with payment which is a single selection, which means that you can have a selection like you would with a variety of options, but you can only select one of those. And then you have a payment multi-selection, which is similar. You can have 4 or 5 things, but be able to pick more than one piece from that list. So now we're going to go in and build using some of these types, just to show you what you can do with this eForm. So if I start with a first name, a last name, an email address, and a phone number, and I hit required for these 4. This means this eForm can't be submitted unless I get these details from the app user. Now if I continue and I start with a selection, I can say, for example, how many players do you have? I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add more than 4. And I'll show you the date and times. And as you can see, when I set time, it gives me the start and end limits of the specific period. So I can say I want it to start at 9 o'clock in the morning and finish at 3, which means that people can pick 15-minute intervals in between 9 and 3 o'clock. And then also go through and select a yes or no value. Say, do you require cards. Then, for example, we'll have a payment of single selection and say now with this payment single selection, we can have it and say 9 holes as 25. This is creating the selection that we will have, but it will also add up the amount at the bottom, so that when you receive the eForm to the Pro Shop or to the admins, you know how much needs to be paid on this item. So now we're going to save this. If I log into this demo app we have here, I go into eForms, go come and play. As you can see here, the name and email automatically generate, and they have a little asterisk next to them, which means it's required before it can be submitted. I can now change my selection here to alter how many players I'd like. I can select a date and a time with 15-minute intervals between 9 and 3. I have the option of saying yes or no to a card, and when I change this, I can change from 9 to 18, and this will show my payment history and my payment total. I can then hit review. As you can see, I didn't enter the phone number there, which means it won't send or give you an error message. So as soon as I do that and I hit view summary and submit, I can see what I've put in, and then I can hit submit. That's given me information to say that it's been submitted, which means it'll send out as an email as well as being on the back end of the app.